Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 11-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Large slate to get through, but on the bright side, it's going to be very easy to scratch some of these games off. There are some standout games that we're really going to want to target, and then there's some games that are not so fast-paced that we can kind of just write off because when you're dealing with a slate this big, it becomes pretty easy to prioritize what you are liking. So before we get into it, if you enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. YouTube continues to tell me about 60% of my audience is not subscribed, so if that's you and you enjoy this content, if you could just take 1 second to hit that subscribe button, I do greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the support so far on the road to 500 subscribers. Anyone that has interacted with my content, commented, liked, any of the above, I do appreciate it. And let's go ahead and start breaking down this one today. First game on the slate, we have Indiana taking on Washington. Right now, this game comes in with a 234.5 over-under with a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So this is one of those games we're going to want to target for sure. Definitely a fast-paced game. And as far as who we're looking to in this one, Bradley Beal is listed as questionable. If he does miss this one, we're going to really like Russell Westbrook even more than we already do. They're saying it's a bruised hip right now, so whether that impacts him or not, I really don't know. We only played 21 minutes last game, so maybe he finally does get the rest. And like I said, Westbrook becomes a really big priority if that's the case, because this guy's usually just going to go up even more. And we've already seen him pretty much getting a triple-double night in and night out. And on DraftKings, you get that bonus for the triple-double, so we're definitely going to have interest in Russell Westbrook. 70, 40, 58, and 59 DraftKings points the last 4 times out. Great play. And then on the Indiana side, I mean, you don't get a much better matchup than taking on this Washington squad. Doug McDermott is listed as questionable. That may give some more minutes to guys like Jeremy Lamb. Justin Holiday already plays a ton of minutes, but maybe some more usage his way, and then TJ McConnell. But we're really prioritizing the big three, so to speak, on the Indiana side. It's Domantas Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon, and Caris LeVert. These 3 guys, very good fantasy point per minute producers, and really playing good at their respective price tags. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon and Caris LeVert specifically still only priced at 7K. And tons of on-ball handling duty, tons of shots to go around, and a great matchup. I do think that both of these guys are going to be great plays tonight. Followed by Miles Turner, who is priced all the way down to 5'9". So, I mean, he can get you there a lot easier than these other guys based upon his price tag. Only problem with him is he's a little inconsistent. He could go out there and literally get you like 15 DraftKings points, or he could go out there and get you 50. So, good tournament play, but just know what you're getting into when you're playing him. On the Washington side, as far as anyone else besides Russell Westbrook, we continue to see Rui Hachimura play a ton of minutes, so he's an interesting play at 5'9". Playing like 40 minutes a game. And then Alex Len at 4'2", as far as he's concerned, seeing, around like 15 minutes a game. Sometimes he starts. I don't really know that I'm looking to go there, but the one guy that I will continue to say that is getting, pretty decent run ever since the Troy Brown trade is Garrison Matthews. He played 35 and 31 minutes the last 2 times out. So I'd say that's even, better than a decent run. I mean, the guy's playing like 30 minutes a game. So at 3.5, he is an interesting tournament play as well. New Orleans taking on Boston, second game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 230.5 over-under with a 4-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. So another good pace game here as far as who we're looking to in this one. Lonzo Ball listed as questionable. Evan Fournier listed as questionable. Lonzo, I do think, could finally be ruled back. And in this one, if he's back, good play at 7K. If he continues to be out, we're going to be continuing to play Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Josh Hart and Eric Bledsoe. These 3 guys are going to really see a big bump up in usage with there being no Lonzo Ball. And they would be the top priorities for me as far as the usage bump on this team with there being no Lonzo. I kind of think he's going to be back in this one, so these guys are going to take a big hit, and you're probably going to want to be playing, Lonzo Ball over them. So just keep that in mind based upon the injury news. And then you got Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram at the top. Both these guys, very good plays at their respective price tags. Continue to see the biggest usage on the team. Zion specifically having a very good stretch here, putting up 39 and 38 real-life points the last 2 games out. We did see him only put up 65 and 51 DraftKings points, like based upon the fact that he scored 39 and 38 real-life points. That's a little underwhelming, but he continues to be kind of the main dog in the offense, and Brandon Ingram has been very underwhelming recently, only putting up 26 and 25 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. Last video I said based upon the spot, he would make sense as a play, but I can never get this guy right, and he seems to just never show up when you would think he would, and then he literally goes out there and puts up 25 DraftKings points. So case in point, tournament play there. But then Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, 8.6 and 8K. Both these guys continue to be the top dogs on the Boston side. And against this New Orleans team, very good matchup. You could definitely see these guys hit their ceiling, and as well as Kemba Walker and Robert Williams. Robert Williams specifically getting a very big bump up in minutes and opportunity. Ever since they finally got rid of Daniel Tice, this guy's going to step in and get your fantasy points every night out. I guarantee it, because based upon his fantasy point production, some massive upside at his price tag at 6'7". Minnesota taking on Brooklyn. We got another good game here. 239 over under with a 11-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. The only problem in this one is the fact that Brooklyn may blow out the Minnesota Timberwolves, because right now on paper they are expected to win fairly easily, but Kyrie Irving's going to be back. We got James Harden, Kyrie Irving, both these guys great plays. James Harden is going to take a bit of a hit in his usage and become a lot less of a good play with Kyrie Irving coming back. And Kyrie Irving only at 9.8 is a good price discount off James Harden. However, I mean, James Harden can still get you there at that price tag. If this game stays close, these guys are going to have massive games. And the same rule applies on the other side for the Minnesota guys. Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and Malik Beasley. These three guys are really going to be my top options. Karl-Anthony Towns putting up 64 and 56 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. Great matchup in this one, so I'm definitely going to like Karl-Anthony Towns a ton at 9.9. Anthony Edwards, 7.3, has been a great play. There has been no Malik Beasley, so he's been getting a lot of minutes. Beasley has returned. He was limited in his last game, only playing around like 30 minutes. I mean, somewhat limited. I tend to think he's going to be probably up in the 35-minute range already in this game. So all three of these guys I like a lot on the Minnesota side, and if you're stacking this game up, they make a lot of sense to, you know, throw all those guys in if you're playing like a Kyrie Irving or a James Harden, or even just running it back with Karl-Anthony Towns. If you're going to play Kyrie Irving and James Harden, it makes sense to play Karl-Anthony Towns in your lineups. Miami taking on New York. This game is definitely going to be an ugly one as far as the large slate's concerned, and one that we're probably not going to really want to play a ton of people from. It's a 208 over-under with a 4.5-point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. And yeah, it's just going to be like, I don't really want to play anyone in this game. Based upon injury news, we might have some opportunity here because Kendrick Nunn is already ruled out. Goran Dragic is listed as questionable, so that does make Tyler Hero look pretty appealing at his 5.8 price tag, even though it's a slower paced game. Guys should get a big bump up in usage and minutes with those guys being out if they are. So I will say that I like him. Same applies to Jimmy Butler. Should get more on-ball handling duty and actually be able to play, you know, just very heavily usage basketball. So tons of opportunity for him. Only problem is the pace. It's 208, so you're paying up for a guy at 9K in a very slow-paced game. So, I mean, you can do it, but who knows? Julius Randle listed as questionable. If he's out, RJ Barrett, Alec Burks are going to be the top 2 dogs on the New York side. Mitchell Robinson has already been ruled out, so we're going to see a lot more opportunity for a guy in Nerlens Noel at 4.8, who is a very good fantasy point producer. Played 31 minutes last time out, put up 32 DraftKings points, only 4.8. He is a little bit underpriced. So a little bit of an opportunity here in these lower price guys based upon the injury report. And then you have Bielitsa joining the Miami Heat. I don't know if he's going to get in the rotation, but if he is, he's a very interesting play because he's only 3K. If he's going to be in the rotation and they're shorthanded, he can get you there very easily at that price tag. I just don't really know if he's going to get minutes. We kind of need some news on that one. And those are the guys that I would be looking to in this one. Toronto taking on Detroit. This game right now comes in with a 218.5 over under with a 4.5-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. So once again, another slow-paced game. Not really going to have a ton of interest in these guys. Kyle Lowry is listed as questionable, so he could have some usage opportunity again. Guys like Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam become really good plays. OG Anunoby, those three specifically. And then you got Gary Trent Jr., the new acquisition as well. All three of these guys are going to get a lot of minutes, just the pace, similar to the game we just talked about. But I have no issues with playing these guys at their price tag specifically. I mean, we're talking about like Jimmy Butler priced up at 9K. These guys are only in like the mid 7K, upper 7K range. And then you got OG Anunoby at 6'3 and Gary Trent Jr. at 5'2. So based upon their price tags, there's a lot easier to be able to get you there, at their respective price tags. Exactly. You got to pay a price for all these guys. So if you can get them at the right price, even though it's a slower paced game, they do make sense. And those guys do make sense if there is no Kyle Lowry. And then on the Detroit side, Jeremiah Grant is questionable. So he does look like he's more so probable, though. So overall, the Detroit side is going to be pretty fully loaded. You're really looking to play Mason Plumlee, Sadiq Bey and Jeremiah Grant. Anyone outside of that's getting a little too cute, in my opinion. I mean, Josh Jackson was the guy I was hoping to maybe see some more minutes after some trades that the Detroit side made, and he's only played like 20 minutes a game. So it's really just those three at the top for the Detroit side. You do have the Diallo, the new acquisition at 4.7, who's seeing like 20 minutes a game, and he's a good fantasy point producer, but the minutes just aren't there in this rotation. They're spreading it too thin. I'm not really looking to go there. Memphis taking on Houston. This game right now has, as far as a Vegas total, a 221.5 over-under with a 5-point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Decently paced game, nothing crazy. Christian Wood is listed as questionable. If he's out, that's just going to give a bump up even more to a guy in John Wall, who continues to be an absolute usage beast on this team every night and night out. He's going to have a ton of upside based upon the fact that they shipped off Victor Oladipo. The only thing that's going to matter is if this team can stay in the game. This game is expected to stay close based upon the Vegas spread, so I do have a lot of interest in John Wall, and then you can play Kevin Porter Jr., and Kelly Olynyk, the new acquisition at only 4.4, is way too cheap. If there's no Christian Wood, he'll get the start at center. Put up 34 DraftKings points last time out, got the start, only played 25 minutes because of the blowout. And I tend to think he's going to play a lot more minutes than that in a regular game for this team. So he's a great play at his price tag. Kevin Porter Jr. at 6.4 is a great play as well, like I said. So I have no issues with playing those guys on the Houston side. All three of those guys, very good fantasy point producers, and I feel very confident in their abilities to get you there at all of their price tags. And on the Memphis side, I'm really looking to play Jonas Valanciunas and John Morant. Anyone else, I do play Dylan Brooks quite a bit, as I mentioned, pretty much every single video. I mean, the guy's just always priced in a price range where he is affordable, and he can have a massive upside game based upon his shooting talent. He can also really have a bad game, putting up 24 17 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. You've seen the bad side of him, but the times before that, putting up 32 and 46 DraftKings points. So that's what you get with Dylan Brooks, but you get him in the mid-5 price K range, and if he gets hot, he's just going to keep chucking and shooting, and has a ton of upside at his price tag. But it's really John Morant and Jonas Valanciunas at their price tag. Specifically, if there is no Christian Wood, that's going to be a big upgrade to Jonas Valanciunas because they're not going to have quite as big of a presence down low on the block. So I will like him a lot more if we do get that news. Dallas taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. This game right now comes in with a 217 over-under with a 9.5-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. So not exactly the most appealing game. Expected to be slow paced. Dallas is expected to win quite easily. However, on the Oklahoma City side, it is a great matchup, and they are a little short-handed. Moses Brown, my lock of the night last time out, I said get him in your lineup while you can because he's only 5'9". DraftKings is going to have to price him up soon, and wouldn't you look at it, he's all the way up to 6'8" now. So kind of called that one, and this guy's just been a great fantasy point producer, like putting up like 1.2 DraftKings points a minute practically, putting up 50 DraftKings points last time. Had a 20 and 20 game, 23 rebounds, 21 points, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have announced they're shutting down Al Horford, so this guy is going to become a real presence, and honestly, at 6'8", I think he's still too cheap. I think this guy's literally going to get priced up to like 8K eventually, so I'd continue to play him at this price tag, and if it gets to a blowout, they're just going to keep continuing to play him. They offered him a multi-year deal. They're going to just give him minutes, focus on developing him, and I definitely still like him at his price tag. Lou Dort listed as questionable. Darius Bazley listed as questionable. That's going to open up more minutes for guys like Theo Maledon, Paco Zevsky, and Isaiah Roby. All of these guys on the Oklahoma City side. Just going to continue to make sense as plays. They're going to be forced into minutes. They're going to have to play, and even if it's a blowout, they're going to be out there on the floor. So all good, pretty good fantasy point producers as well. Even though they may not be getting the job done on the scoreboard in the real-life games, fantasy-wise, they can definitely get you there. So I like all those guys. And then on the Dallas side, it's looking a little iffy based on the blowout. They might pull Luka Doncic or Kristaps Porzingis a little bit early in this one. So I'm not too sure that I'm really trying to play anyone on the Dallas side. In this one, I'd probably be sticking to the Oklahoma City side. If I'm playing one, it would probably be Tim Hardaway Jr. at 6'2". Continue to see a lot of minutes. And if it's more so of a blowout, I think he can still get you there at his price tag compared to guys like Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. Sacramento taking on San Antonio. This game right now comes in with a 228 over-under with a 2.5-point spread in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. Decently paced game, nothing too crazy, and both of these rotations are pretty deep, so I'm a little concerned about going here in this one. We have Delon Wright joining the Sacramento squad, and I think he's going to cut into the minutes of a lot of these guys that we were typically playing, like a Buddy Hield, like a Halliburton at 6'4" and 6'1". I'm a little concerned about their production being down based upon the new acquisition and the guard just cutting into their minutes, specifically those two guys. De'Aaron Fox, I don't think it's going to affect too much at 9.5. Continue to play him, but he's priced up, based upon his role, putting up 49, 50, 63, and 55 DraftKings points the last 4 games out. Definitely like him. And then on the San Antonio side, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, they continue to be the top 2 guys that I'm looking to as well. So there's some decent pay-up options in this game, but honestly, not really looking at anyone in the mid-range, and it's like I don't even know if I'm really trying to pay up and be too excited, but you got Keldon Johnson at 5.3 is the last guy I would mention. He makes a lot of sense as a tournament play as well. He does have a lot of upside on any given night. A little inconsistent, but he can have a very big game, so I wouldn't mind playing him in some tournaments. Cleveland taking on Utah. This game should be pretty ugly, to be honest with you. Not really sure I'm looking to play anyone in this one. It's a 224 over-under with a 16-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Probably going to be a blowout. Jarrett Allen's listed as out. Kevin Love is listed as out. So as far as on the Cleveland side, there is plenty of usage to go around for the bigs. We got Dean Wade at 4.8 now, playing like 30 minutes a game, but he's not a very good fantasy point producer, and the Utah side is a very good defense. So you're pretty much just relying on garbage time right now on this Cleveland side. Damian Johnson, Quinn Cook. Maybe some of these 3K guys you can be throwing in your lineups as salary savers because they're going to get some more run in a blowout, but it's looking a little dicey. And then on the Utah side, I'm not really comfortable playing anyone. I mean, Darius Garland and Larry Nance Jr., Colin Sexton, these 3 guys in Cleveland make the most sense. I mean, they're going to get the most usage, but they're also priced up based upon the production. They're all like at 7K or so. So I don't have an issue with playing them in tournaments. These 3 guys specifically could definitely shine. Even if it is a blowout, they can still get you there. So I'm not going to talk you off them. It's just a little scary if it gets out of hand and the coaching staff decides they're going to kind of take it easy on their minutes and be throwing in some of these other guys in the rotation. And the same rule applies for the Utah side. So if I were to give you any advice, if Mike Conley continues to be out, then we have a lot more interest in Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles. If Mike Conley's in, I'm just really scared to play anyone on this team, to be quite frank. But Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles would be my favorite options based upon their price tags. Even if it turns out a blowout, they're cheaper than Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. I feel a lot more comfortable playing those guys. So Chicago taking on Golden State. Stephen Curry is listed as questionable. There's a possibility that he's going to return this one. It's a 224.5 over-under with a 4.5-point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. Zach Levine listed as questionable. We did see that he got updated to probable, so I'd expect him to play in this one. Last played on the 27th. The last game out, Nikola Vucevic played on the 27th in his Bulls debut, only put up 37 DraftKings points. I tend to think that's going to rise up in this Golden State matchup specifically. They do not scare me at all, so I do like Vuce and Zach Levine. They make sense. Those 2 guys on the Chicago side. Anyone else on the Chicago side, I'm not really all too excited to be playing, to be honest. And then on the Golden State side, based upon the Stephen Curry news, that'll open up, who we're really looking to play in this one. He did go through a full practice on Sunday, so could be out one more game, could return. Just keep an eye on that one. If he continues to be out, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Kelly Oubre. These 4 guys are really the ones that you're looking to. Draymond Green specifically, I'm not all too interested in, to be honest, because James Wiseman starting, I think, is really affecting him. More interested in the 3 of Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins being my favorite of the 3. Last game on the slate, we got Milwaukee taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. Giannis Antetokounmpo comes in with a 10-7 price tag. This game comes in with a 229.5 over-under with a half-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. So expected to be a very close game, which is going to make me like Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, all of these pay-up options in this one. Typically speaking, they're just reliant on their teams, being in close games. Giannis Antetokounmpo having 2 rough games the last 2 times out. I think he's been a little banged up. I'd hope that he's back on the right track in this one. And then Kawhi Leonard at 8-9 and Paul George. Kawhi Leonard putting up 47, 48, and 45 DraftKings points the last 3 times out in a close game against this Milwaukee team. I'm definitely going to like Kawhi Leonard a lot. Same rule applies to Paul George. 47, 55 DraftKings points the last 2 times out, being involved in close games. Both these guys are going to make a ton of sense to me. I do like them a lot. And then Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, I think you could also have interest in this one because all these guys are really good fantasy point producers, and like I said, it's just a matter of the game staying close, and I think this is a rare occasion where the game's going to be competitive enough. They're going to be playing with their full allotment of minutes, going to be getting all of the upside you could possibly get out of them, and even though it's not the best defensive matchup for both teams, both very good defensively, just the fact that it is a close game and these guys are going to be out there on the floor for their max minutes does make me like them a lot. So all those pay-up options in this last game, I have no issue with playing, and I would definitely be getting some exposure to them on this slate. So with that being said, that's my overall breakdown. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Kawhi Leonard at this 8-9 price tag. Take it on this Milwaukee squad. I already mentioned I really like targeting these guys when they're involved in close games, and specifically Kawhi Leonard, even though it's not the best matchup, Milwaukee, a very good team defensively. This guy's just going to be out there for his full run, and when he is an absolute beast as far as a fantasy point per minute producer. I'd expect him to climb over 35 minutes in this one, up more towards the 40 minutes range, just based upon the game and it being close. And if that happens, I think this guy's going to absolutely crush. So Kawhi Leonard at this 8-9 price tag is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Kawhi Leonard, get him in your lineups. And that is all for me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that on the road to 500 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that stayed tuned to all of my videos. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.